All right. I just had to make sure that we was recording, y'all. What's up, y'all? Earth Zep Tepi. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know what it is. Earth Talk 777 Studios and Broadcasting. We on here. We out here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all seen in the title what it is. I told you we're gonna be covering a lot of things over here. Everything I told you can be it can be a baby genius that's 8 years old, all the way up until somebody get assassinated. It doesn't even matter. I hope don't nobody get assassinated. I hope nobody get assassinated. I'm just saying. Like I said, I don't do the I don't wish bad on nobody. It ain't like that over here. You see what I'm saying? I ain't with all that drama. So anyway, y'all see what's in the title. Y'all, if y'all clicked on it, y'all know what y'all came to do, and we about to get right into it. And like I said, and the reason why I'm covering this video, the presidential debate, is because a lot of people take sides. You know, the media, mainstream media, CNN saying something, MSNBC, they be saying some shit, NBC be saying some shit, Fox be saying some shit, the dude around the corner be saying some shit, the little turtle down there be saying some shit, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got something to say. And they think they know, but they really don't know. But I'm going to tell you like this, I've been following Trump and Biden, this whole thing, man, for the longest. Like ever since Trump came down the escalator, and ever since Biden made that crime bill back in the days. I ain't talking about I was there watching it. I mean, I ain't that damn old, but at the same time, you know, I do know about it. You know, see, that's the thing. People out here just talking, yapping, don't even know what they're talking about. And don't even know why they hate these people or whatever. But this is why I said in the title, a citizen, you know what I'm saying? Point of view, perspective, a real American, a real one. You know, the Americans are doing this for the American people out there that know, but they can't ask the questions. Or they think they know, but they don't know how to find out the information. Or they being misled. See, when you're being misled and somebody try to tell you something, it's good to listen to people. Somebody told me that something a good listener makes a something. It's something about people that listen makes a good whatever. Anyway, if you listen, I understand I know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's just coming out wrong. But if you listen to other people, sometimes people are, you know, telling you the truth. But anyway, it's not gonna be one of them videos, and we're not gonna rant and rip. You know, we're not doing that over here because that's another thing I be saying. You know what I'm saying? When people be on YouTube and stuff like that, I click on these videos and stuff like that, and then you want to watch the content, or you come to the video to get some information or whatever it is that you come to the video to get, and then when you get there, the people just talking and talking and talking and waiting and talking, wait and doing this. Oh, get the likes up, do this. Oh man, you know what I'm saying? $5 donation. I don't want no money. I don't need nothing. I'm good. If y'all hit the like button, that'd be straight. So I can get up in the algorithm, but besides that, I ain't worrying about none of that other stuff, man. I'm straight. You know, I take care of myself. I don't trust nobody, and I don't depend on nobody. My mama taught me not to depend on nobody. You know, man, all right. But anyway, we about to get into it. So the reason why I say I'm making this video is because I know it. I ain't gonna mislead you. If Trump saying something wrong, I'm like, yo, man, it's wrong. Biden said something wrong, I'm like, yo, it's wrong. And I'm gonna show you where to go find the information. Or I'm gonna tell you where to go find the information, or I'm gonna tell you that happened. See, I can actually make a whole video with the receipts about everything that they're talking about. And we can actually see who's telling the truth and who's not telling the truth. But that'll take a long video. And I ain't trying to do I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I ain't trying to do all that. Shit, not me. No, that's too long. This one is too long. Shit. All right, but anyway, enough talking, because I know y'all getting tired of hearing people just talk. So this is how it's gonna be. I'm gonna run it. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna recap it. Basically, that's what we're doing, recapping it. What they say, fact checkers. I'm a fact checker, shit, because I've been watching this shit for been watching him for too long. Him, his son, the Chinese people, the Russian people. We do more than just make music over here. For real. Anyway, real Americans. Use your own opinion. That's your rights. You got rights. You ain't gotta believe everything people say, and you ain't gotta vote for who you don't want to vote for. You should vote for whoever's gonna make it better. But anyway, with that being said, we about to just run up in here and we about to get started. Yo, let's rock and roll. Stop playing. It's gonna be funny too. I can tell y'all right now, this probably gonna be hilarious. So you doing it with a real one. Let's go. Shit. What you mean I don't smile no more? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Talk to him. Nah, stop it, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They taking it to a whole nother level. That's my new track right there called Independent Lifestyle. I'm going to link it. I'm going to put the links below, you know what I'm saying? So, you know. Yeah. So y'all can go check it out if y'all want to hear it. Yeah. Yeah, we about to get into this. Let's get it. My bad, I'll be out there chasing money, y'all. It costs a lot to put this music in front of y'all. Independent lifestyle, yeah, I do it all. Come on, y'all, let's get straight to it. Yo, these bars will beat you up, but you tough. You will live through it. Yeah. All right, let's run it, man.
We're live from Georgia, a key battleground state in the race for the White House. In just moments, the current U.S. president.
It's going to be a long video, y'all, so go get you some popcorn.
Party's presumptive nominees.
Go get you some drinks. You got a blaze, go blaze. It's going to get crazy. It's going to get real.
This is the CNN presidential debate.
This debate
and I thank everybody for coming.
And is coming to you live on
Go ahead, hit them like buttons. I'm just gonna say it one time. I don't need no donations. I don't need none of that. I just need somebody. I just need y'all, you know, show a little love by hitting the like button. That's all. And if you don't, then that's cool too. It's all good. I like doing this. It's all good.
To the American people with just over 4 months until Election Day.
Ain't nothing gonna stop if you don't hit the like button.
I'm Dana Bash, anchor of CNN's Inside Politics and co-anchor of State of the Union.
I'm Jake Tapper, anchor of CNN's The Lead and co-anchor of State of the Union. Dana and I will
nice little setup they got there.
Our job is to facilitate a debate between the two candidates tonight. Before we introduce them, we want to share the rules
they say
of the
fake
debate
news.
with the audience at home. Former President
But
Trump
they
will
got
be on
nice
the
little
left
setup
side
though.
of the
I
screen.
see them.
President Biden will be appearing on the right. A coin toss determined their positions. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer a question and 1 minute each for responses and rebuttals. An additional minute for follow-up, clarification, or response.
What's going on out here?
At the moderator's discretion.
When it's time for a candidate to speak, his microphone will be turned
Lock
on.
it in, y'all. Y'all go get y'all some food or something, man. Relax.
Should a candidate interrupt
and enjoy yourself, because we're going to enjoy ourselves over here.
At home. At the end of the debate, each candidate will get 2 minutes for closing statements. There is no studio audience tonight. Pre-written notes, props, or contact with campaign staff are not permitted during the debate.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it. When I first heard that, y'all, when I first heard that wasn't gonna be no studio audience, I was like, man, I ain't watching this shit. They taking the fun out of it, man. Damn it. All right, let's get back to it. I told you I ain't gonna bug y'all.
Accepting our invitation to debate, both candidates and their campaigns agreed to accept these rules.
Now, please welcome the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Yo, did he say, folks, how are you? They just say ain't no audience out there. It's just them two people. You knew they was going to be there. Stop playing. You know what? See, from the jump. Man, y'all leave Biden alone, man. Y'all stop it. Leave him alone. He cool. He all right. Biden is crazy, man.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Okay, he was talking to them, I
And
guess.
please welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Trump walking out there like... walking out there like a gangster. Let me stop playing.
Here, let's begin the debate, and let's start with the issue that
look, she's smiling. Okay, look. They've been waiting for this.
President Biden, inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $120. And typical home prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump?
We got to take a look at what I was left when I became president and what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach in your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%.
That's what I'm saying. Facts. Trump did say that. But here's the thing. Trump did say that. But the thing about it, man, come on, don't be stupid. You gonna put some bleach in your arm? But there are people out there in the world that are not mentally, up to par. So somebody will put bleach in your arm. So I guess that wasn't. I guess you need Trump. You need to think about what you're saying before you say it.
It was terrible. And so what we had to do is try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs. We brought out a position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. But there's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble. I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I come of a household where the kitchen table, if the things weren't able to be met during the month, it was a problem. Price of eggs, the price of gas, the price of housing, the price of a whole range of things. That's why I'm working so hard to make sure I deal with those problems. And we're going to make sure that we reduce the price of housing. We're going to make sure we build 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over. The combination, what I was left with in corporate greed, is the reason why we're in this problem right now. In addition to that, we're in a situation where if you take a look at all that was done in his administration, he didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos, literally chaos. And so we put things back together. We created, I said, those jobs. We make sure we had a situation where we brought down the price of prescription drugs, which is a major issue for many people, to $15 for an insulin shot as opposed to $400. No senior has to pay more than $200 for any drug, all the drugs they can include beginning next year. And the situation is and we're going to make that available to everybody, to all Americans. So we're working to bring down the price around the kitchen table, and that's what we're going to get done.
Thank you. President Trump?
We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID, and when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time we finished, so we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no wars, and so many other things. Everything was rocking good. But the thing we never got the credit for, and we should have, is getting us out of that COVID mess. He created mandates that was a disaster for our country. But other than that, we had given them back a country where the stock market actually was higher than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for
he did do the mandates. Y'all remember them lockdowns, man? Them lockdowns is stupid dumb. I'm from New York, too, so my words kind of like, you know what I'm saying? If y'all don't get it, if y'all don't understand what I'm saying half the time, I don't know, man. I was born in St. Louis, raised in New York. You know, it is what it is, man.
Immigrants and bounce-back jobs, a bounce-back from the COVID. He has not
dumb, stupid mean like it was a lot of them. You know, it was crazy. Like it was not nice. You know what I'm saying?
Job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Thank you. President Biden?
Well, look, the greatest economy in the world. He's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks he had the greatest economy in the world. And, you know, the fact of the matter is that we found ourselves in a situation where his economy rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history, $2 trillion. He raised a deficit larger than any president has in any one term. He's the only...
Coughing, Biden. Man, some of us got headphones on, man. It's literally right there. And the quality kind of clean. God, dog, man, make you feel like you coughing on us, man. Shit. All right, let's...
President other than Herbert Hoover, who's lost more jobs than he had when he began, since Herbert Hoover. The idea that he did something that was significant. And the military, you know, when he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
Oh!
President Trump.
Biden, that's not true. That's not true. See? That's what I'm saying. That's not true. So, for instance, Afghanistan. When they came out of Afghanistan, you left like all our weaponry over there, and you left all them Americans over there. I know some of them died. That's just an example. That's just one example. See, facts. Look it up.
I want to follow up if I can.
Am I allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that
See, that's why I'm doing it. That's why, see, exactly right there. This is the reason why we recap it. That's why you need to watch it again and actually get it. Because the first time, the first time your body, you're happy, your adrenaline is pumping. You're like, oh my God, the debate happened. Hey, you know what I'm saying? And you're not really paying attention to it. You're just more excited of seeing them two both on stage because they ain't been there in a long time. You see? But see, dude, you know, he cut people off and all that stuff. And, you know, you don't let people clarify stuff up. You know, don't do that.
Price is even higher.
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China.
He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world. Like
That's not true. No matter how many times
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can.
Am I allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down, and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce-back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. Now, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing. And they don't know what they were doing. It was probably the worst administration in history. There's never been.
That is fact. That is true. It was low. When Biden came in, it did skyrocket. It got higher.
Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump, over the last 8 years, under both of your administrations...
And see, that is right. I mean, I'm not jumping on Trump's side like that. It's just that if it's the truth, it's the truth. You know, because I think the plan was for Trump, when all that stuff was going on, I think that they was taking them out little by little, and they was taking everything out little by little and getting the people out, and then getting the weaponry out, and then at one point in time they was doing both of them at the same time, and then I don't know. After that, I kind of got lost, y'all. You know, I mean, I think that's when the election happened. I don't know, but I do remember that Biden had them people on that air. Them people flew. Them people, you know, y'all know them people was like trying to jump on the airplane to get over here to get. I'm talking about the Arab people, not Americans. That's what I'm saying. The Americans is over there stranded. He left them over there. Something like that. Yeah, look it up. It's true.
Debt soared to record highs. And according to a new nonpartisan analysis, President Trump, your administration approved $8.4 trillion in new debt.
See, this is why I don't
so
do
far,
this
President
stuff,
Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion in new debt. So, former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Because the tax cuts spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID. And even after COVID, it was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred, that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going like never before, and we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with. We gave him something great. Remember, more people died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it, something which a lot of people don't like to talk about. But he had far more people dying in his administration. He did the mandate, which is a disaster, mandating it. The vaccine.
That is true. See, here we go again with Trump. Talking about the COVID thing, you know what I'm saying? The pandemic. In the beginning, when all that stuff was happening, I'm talking about for real. Trump did. He started the vaccine. Y'all don't remember that? It's like people don't remember stuff. Y'all don't remember that, man? It was even a damn what was it? It was like a project something high speed or whatever. When they started shipping out all the vaccines all over the place, Biden didn't do that, but he taking credit for it.
He did a mandate on the vaccine, which is the thing that people most
it was Project
about
something.
the vaccine. And
I don't remember that.
Poor job, just a very poor job. And I will tell you, not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer respected as a country. They don't respect our leadership. They don't respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation between weaponization of his election, trying to go after his political opponent, all of the things he's done. We've become like a third world nation, and it's a shame. The damage he's done to our country. And I'd love to ask him, and will, why he allowed millions of people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, that $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America. And what's happening?
No more.
They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million, billion dollars, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our health care system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID, with dealing
What?
with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
I know I wasn't the only person that just witnessed that. Let's move on.
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security. They're going to destroy
But I gotta
Social
understand
Security.
too. Joe Biden. I know everybody like, damn, stop. Okay, I am. Biden old too, man. Trump old too. Everybody up in the ages, man. I don't know why they keep people acting like, don't. That's somebody, you know what? Just come on.
This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame what's happened
See,
to
I
our
got to
country.
keep stopping it because I told y'all I'm not going to keep stopping it. But it's going to be quick hitters, quick hitters. Now, I did see like a, what was it? What Mike Johnson, that dude, Mike Johnson, he's the Speaker of the House. I think when Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House and they were talking about the Medicaid or whatever, Joe Biden did a speech there and the people booed him and said that they were trying to get rid of the Social Security stuff. So that happened too. And that happened inside the place that they be all meeting at and voting when they come up with all the votes and laws and stuff like that. Whoever Speaker of the House be standing with that thing and be whatever, yeah, they booed him and said they was saying that he was trying to get rid of the people of Americans' Social Security. So that did happen. You can go look that up too. See, that's what I'm saying. It's not like I'm picking on him. It just that happened.
In the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people, they cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. We're no longer respected. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President Trump.
Well, Trump, I can't. I don't know about if people think that we stupid. You know what I'm saying? I think that they looking at us like, what's going on over there? You know, that ain't the America that I know. And hell, this ain't the America I know either. Shit.
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. This morning, the court ruled on yet another abortion case, temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho, despite that state's restrictive ban. Former President Trump, you take credit for the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion pill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this, getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected, wanted it brought back to the states. I did that.
Why
now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio,
why Biden look Biden, why Biden looking like that, man? Look at his face, man. He make the most weirdest gestures, man. God, dog. Anybody, With that being said, I don't know about Roe v. Wade, y'all. You know, I mean, I know a little bit about it. I know it got to do with abortions and women's, but my thing about that is, if you get pregnant and you kill a baby if it's alive, you are taking. I don't know if that's murder or whatever, but you are taking the baby's life. You are taking life. And my thing is, the shit, strap the fuck up, and then you ain't gotta worry about all that. And then put some condoms on. I ain't trying to get pregnant. But then again, on top of that, is your body. I mean, I wouldn't want nobody come to me tell me what I can't do with my body. You know what I'm saying? That's not cool. So that's not right. Who are you to tell somebody what they can do to their own body? For instance, I was saying something like this. I'm not trying to talk about it. All I'm saying is, don't do it. All I'm saying is, if you want to jump off a bridge and somebody come and run and save your life, why you go over there and save that person's life? They didn't want to live. It's not, you can't, you get what I'm saying? You can't, it's not your responsibility. You know, if that person want to go and spend all their money in a casino and not pay their bills, you can't get in the middle of that and tell them folks what to do. It's their life. Like this Roe v. Wade, if the woman, if she choose not to have it, that's her body, that's her life. I think people forget, don't nobody run this planet. You don't own this place. None of y'all. Not even me. Nobody run this place. We all here together. It's supposed to be some type of universal law. Let's get back to this.
It was a decision that was an end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought.
But I don't want to see nobody take their life either. Don't do that. Don't do that. Shit, please don't do that.
I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions. I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that.
I ain't gonna have me laughing
but I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart. But you have to get elected also, and because that has to do with other things. You got to get elected. The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth, if you look at the former governor of Virginia, he was willing to do this.
Man, this
he said,
long,
we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby.
I'll be back. Y'all good.
What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
Thank you. President Biden?
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe. And that's this idea that they're all against it is just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it. We're in a state where in 6 weeks, you don't even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor and have him decide on what your circumstances are, whether you need help. The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states. Let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in. They talk about that, but here's the deal: there's a lot of young women who are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters. It's just ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state lines.
Thank you.
There have been many young women murdered by the same people he allows to come across
What
our
I miss,
border.
y'all? What I miss?
We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. Consider the most dangerous
Put
place
it in the comments.
anywhere in the
What
world.
I miss, y'all?
And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country.
Oh, okay, the border.
And they are raping and killing women. And it's a terrible thing. As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states. The states are voting. In many cases, it's frankly a very liberal decision. In many cases, it's the opposite. But they're voting, and it's bringing it back to the vote of the people, which is what everybody wanted, including the founders, if they knew about this issue, which, frankly, they didn't. But they would have. Everybody wanted it brought back. Ronald Reagan wanted it brought back. He wasn't able to get it. Everybody wanted it brought back, and many presidents had tried to get it back. I was the one to do it. And again, this gives it the vote of the people, and that's where they wanted it. Every legal scholar wanted it that way.
Staying on the topic of abortion, President Biden, 7 states, I'll let you do that. This is the same topic. 7 states have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain.
I want to talk, man.
Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I support Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. The first time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions.
I do agree with Joe Biden on that. Like I said, it's up to the woman, man. It's up to the woman. No matter how it is, the states or whatever,
if I'm elected, I'm going to
the government, the states, whatever, it's still up to that woman.
He can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia, put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it.
But at the same time, I agree with Trump too. See what I'm saying? It's to be a time limit too, y'all. See, it's if I said real Americans, man, not this media, not all this other stuff that people, not all that. Real American people. These are real topics, This is life. This is life. And they out there playing around with people's minds. This ain't cool.
He's willing to, as we say, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month and kill the baby. Nobody wants that to happen, Democrat or Republican. Nobody wants it to happen.
That is simply not true. The Roe v. Wade does not provide for that. That's not the circumstance. Only if a woman's life is in danger, she's going to die. That's the only circumstance in which that can happen. But we are not for late-term abortion, period. Period, period.
Under Roe v. Wade, you have late-term abortion. You can do whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want. We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years, and it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do, in fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected, and the MAGA Republicans...
All you men out there. Y'all ain't got to deal with that, do you? See? Don't be out there mistreating your women, man. They go through some stuff, man.
Congress, and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
Thank you.
Let's turn now to the issue of immigration and border security. President Biden, a record number of migrants have illegally crossed the southern border on your watch. Overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns. Given that, why should voters trust you to solve this crisis?
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, it made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers, significantly By the way, the Border Patrol endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president, he was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure they were the families were separated.
Obama.
That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. It's better than when he left office.
That's not true. That's not true.
Until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we can do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look, we had the safest border in the history of our country. But all he had to do was leave it. All he had to do was leave it. He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest number of terrorists coming into our country right now, all terrorists, all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere. All over the world they're pouring in. And this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me for president. Brandon, just speak to him. But look, we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history.
Stop taking shots at people, man.
There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place, including the people that are coming up in caravans.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden?
The only terrorist who's done anything crossing the border is one who came along and killed three, under his administration, killed an Al-Qaeda person come in his administration, killed three American soldiers. That's the only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that no terrorist ever got through, but the idea they're emptying their prisons, we're welcoming these people, that's simply not true. There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating, he's lying.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so, how will you do it?
Just 1 second. He said we killed three people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the two greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world. And it had a huge impact on everything, not just border, on everything.
Biden killing me with these looks, man.
With the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying.
What you gonna do? You gonna go
killing our citizens when they come in?
You want to go over there and smack them or something?
Right now in
Biden, calm down, man.
They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state in the union because we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these three incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and they just had the funeral for this girl,
Trump,
12 years old. This is horrible what's taking place.
I'm not laughing about the murders. I'm not laughing about that. I'm laughing because the way he's talking. The way he's talking. He was just talking, and all some reason went, I just talked to the mother. It's just the way he talks, man. I told you, man, New York is we some weird people sometimes. The half of New York in me type, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like. And we have to get a lot of these people out, or we have to get them out fast because they're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all, and he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody
That's true.
did worse. I had the highest.
They living in 5-star hotels, man.
Taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things
I got somebody on the streets in New York
that I got through Congress.
It's called
all of the different things I approved.
Shout out to Philly Dom. Philly, y'all go check out his YouTube channel. If y'all want to find out about the migrant crisis, his name is Philly Don on YouTube. Check him out. He out there. He out there. For real. That was true what Trump just said, too.
We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done all these great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy.
We know.
He's killed so many people at our border by allowing all of these people to come in.
The American people we know, because we out here. We out here doing research for real. We out here looking at this stuff. Don't just take everything for a grain of salt. Don't believe everything. If the media say no, that's not happening, you might want to double check and like triple check because it might be happening.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now.
I get it. Biden wants your vote. I get it. Because I ain't gonna lie. He's lying. He's lying. I put like this. If Trump says some stuff that's not true, okay, it could be. But as for facts, I know Biden is not. He's not telling the truth. No, not the correct truth, the whole truth. So, no, he ain't doing that.
Our group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up, and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up, just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking. It's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation.
Now, that is true. Now, if y'all want to go find out about that, you can go follow somebody. I follow lawyers and attorneys and prosecutors and all of them. So there's a guy out there by the name of Robert Gouveia. He's deep in that. Robert Gouveia. Go to his YouTube channel. He pulls up the documents and read them. I'm talking about the documents that come from the courthouses and from the government houses. So them 51 people, they did say that they made it up, man.
He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing to your side who was on your staff who said you said it, period. That's number one. And number two, the idea.
And I ain't talking about the suckers and losers. I'm talking about them 51 people. They said they made up the Russian thing to help Biden campaign, and they ain't know what they ain't know what else to do. Is go check out Robert Gouveia, y'all, or just Google it. It's out there.
I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. And they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right. Thank you so much.
Let's move to the Topic of foreign policy. I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine, which is now in its third year. Former President Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst commander-in-chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him. So let's get that straight. And they like me more than just about any of them. And that's based on every single bit of information. As far as Russia and Ukraine,
Biden crazy,
had a real
man.
president, the president that knew, that was respected by Putin. He would have never invaded Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in. I'll tell you what happened. He was so bad with Afghanistan. It was such a horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. That when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, that he should have fired those generals, like I fired the one that you mentioned, and so he's got no love lost. But he should have fired those generals. No general got fired for the most embarrassing moment.
Real talk. Afghanistan was horrible. It was, and make it so bad. When that happened, that's when everybody started beefing with each other. I think right after that happened, I think North Korea went down to South Korea or whatever, and that's when they had the big. I remember that big protest. They was like, well, if America letting Afghanistan do that, then shit, let's go.
History of our country, Afghanistan, where we left billions of dollars of equipment behind. We lost 13 beautiful soldiers, and 38 soldiers were obliterated. And by the way, we left people behind, too. We left American citizens behind. When Putin saw that, he said, you know what? I think we're going to go in and maybe take this was his dream. I talked to him about it, his dream.
Biden, what you doing?
He never would have invaded Ukraine.
Hold on.
Never.
Did y'all see somebody walk across the camera and then adjust his camera? And then he looked down. What are you looking down? Look, okay, don't tell me they didn't give him the cards, man. He know what's coming up. They had, you know what? They cheating. If they did that, now they cheating. Because they said no cue cards, no none of that, no audience, no none of that. I mean, they told them a list of all the stuff they was gonna talk about. So, I guess they can take notes. I mean, shit.
Just like Israel would have never been invaded in a million
But Trump ain't looked down not one time. That's all I'm saying.
Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything, no money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration. This place, the whole world is blowing up under him.
President Biden?
I've never heard so much malarkey in my whole life. The fact of the matter is that we're in a situation where, let's take the last point first. Iran attacked American troops. Caused brain damage for a number of these troops, and he did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president. They attacked. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is. He didn't do a thing when they attacked
Trump, did he say that?
Number two,
did he say that?
He got over 100,000 Americans and others out of Afghanistan.
Trump, you can't say that if you said that, man.
Number three, we found ourselves in a situation where, if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine,
crazy.
This guy told Trump, do whatever you want, and do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did to Putin, encourage him, do whatever you want. And he went in. And listen to what he said when he went in. He was going to take Kyiv in 5 days, remember? Because it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish. Kyiv.
All right, so that is true. Now Biden is telling the truth. Trump did say that, you know what I'm saying? So, Trump, that's not a good look for you. I'm not going to lie to you. You can't, Russia is, some people that live on this planet want to take over the planet for real. And Russia might just be one of them. So I wouldn't encourage them, Trump. You know what I'm saying? But, you know.
And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He wasn't able to get it done. And they've lost thousands and thousands of troops, 500,000 troops.
President Trump, as I come back to you for 1 minute, I just want to go back to my original question, which is, are Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the territory in Ukraine?
No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a war that never should have started. If we had a leader in this war, he led everybody along. He's given $200 billion now or more to Ukraine. He's given $200 billion. That's a lot of money. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Every time that Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever. And I'm not knocking him.
I'm tripping. I got these headphones. See, I got a studio. I'm in my studio type shit. And I got these headphones on. I could have swore, man, if you listen to real closely, go put y'all some headphones on. It seems like somebody up there got a microphone. It seems like somebody's talking to somebody. Listen what, am I tripping? Let me see. Let me go back. Wait a minute.
For 1 minute, I just want to go back to my original question, which is, are Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the territory in Ukraine?
No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a war that never should have started. If we had a leader in this war, he led everybody along. He's given $200 billion now or more to Ukraine. He's given $200 billion. That's a lot of money. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Every time that Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever. And I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking anything. I'm only saying the money that we're spending on this war, and we shouldn't be spending, it should have never happened. I will have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled. People being killed so needlessly, so stupidly, and I will get it settled, and I'll get it settled fast before I take office.
President Biden, you have a minute.
The fact is that Putin is a war criminal. He's killed thousands and thousands of people. And he has made one thing he wants to reestablish part of the Soviet Empire, not just a piece. He wants all of Ukraine. That's what he wants. And then you think he'll stop
I'm not crazy.
You think he'll stop when if he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens to Poland?
This is why we gotta
Belarus? What do you think happens to those NATO countries? And so if you want a war, you ought to find out what he's going to do, because if in fact he does what he says and walks away, by the way,
and that's what I mean. See, us that's been following this shit, we know that Biden get cue cards. We know that Biden get stuff already assigned. We already know that Biden get the answers. We already know that. We already know about. Somebody said you might need to check them for the earpieces and all that stuff. I'm not going back no more, but.
We give Ukraine from weapons we make.
I can put some headphones on.
Give them the weapons, not the money at this point. And
well, I can turn it up loud.
Produced as much.
And right at that part when I was saying I'm hearing some stuff.
That's why
go listen to
strong.
It.
Thank you. Moving on to the
Put
Middle East.
Put your headphones up real loud.
In October, Hamas attacked Israel, killing more than 1,000 people and taking hundreds of hostages. Among those held and thought to still be alive are 5 Americans. Israel's response has killed thousands of Palestinians and created a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. President Biden, you've put forward a proposal to resolve this conflict, but so far Hamas has not released the remaining hostages, and Israel is continuing its military offensive in Gaza. So what additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and Israel to end the war? You have
somebody talking.
Everyone from the United Nations Security Council.
Among those held and thought to still be alive are 5 Americans. Israel's response has killed thousands of Palestinians and created a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. President Biden, you've put forward a proposal to resolve this conflict, but so far Hamas has not released the remaining hostages, and Israel is continuing its military offensive in Gaza. So what additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and Israel to end the war? You have 2 minutes.
Number one, everyone from the United Nations Security Council straight through to the G7 to the Israelis and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward. Endorsed the plan I put forward, which has 3 stages to it. The first stage is trade the hostages for a ceasefire. Second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is the end of the war. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas, number one. They're the only ones standing out. We're still pushing hard to get them to accept. In the meantime, what's happened? In Israel, we're finding the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people. We're providing Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need them. And by the way, I'm the guy that organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack on Israel. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it stopped. We saved Israel. We are the biggest producer of support for Israel of anyone.
Okay, now I don't know about if he saved Israel, because Israel got they got a little bad little army over there in the Middle East. Now, you know what I'm saying? But Biden, that is true that he did send them. Matter of fact, he sent them on Christmas. He did. If y'all didn't know that, Biden ordered a airstrike over there in Iraq. I think Iran, one of them, on Christmas. Yeah, America is crazy.
And so there are 2 different things. Hamas cannot be allowed to be continued. We continue to send our
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but
as to how they can get Hamas like we did Bin Laden. You don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened Hamas.
But he sent them over there.
They should be.
They
should be eliminated.
They blew their shit
but
up.
You've got to be careful for using certain weapons among population centers.
Just going back to Ukraine for 1 second. We have an ocean separating us. The European nations together have spent $100 billion, or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen. They wouldn't have any. They were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting all. You got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them. As far as Israel and Hamas, Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one that wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him.
And that is true. I don't know if Hamas is like, I got a flyer here, y'all. That's why I keep on swiping shit. I don't even know how I got in here, but I can't. Shit. Anyway, so my bad. Sorry, I don't want to Biden y'all. Let me stop. But Israel is like pushing to get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? And like if y'all been watching the news, if y'all into it like that, if y'all been watching the news, I think Israel president or whatever, he's really determined to get rid of those folks.
Very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
President Biden, you have a minute.
I've never heard so much foolishness. This is a guy who wants to get out of NATO. Are you going to stay in NATO? He's going to pull out of NATO. The idea that we have, our strength lies in our alliances as well.
See that? There it goes.
It may be a big ocean, but we're ever able to avoid a war in Europe, a major war in Europe? What happens if, in fact, you have Putin continue to go into NATO? We have an Article 5 agreement. Attack on one is attack on all.
My bad, y'all. Sorry about that.
War he keeps talking about. Go ahead. Let Putin go in and control Ukraine and then move on to Poland and other places. See what happens then. He has no idea what he's talking about. And by the way, I got 50 other nations around the world to support Ukraine, including Japan and South Korea, because they understand that this kind of dislocation has a serious threat to the whole world peace. No major war in Europe has ever been able to be contained just to Europe.
President Trump, just to follow up, would you support the creation of an independent Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to see, but before we do that, the problem we have is that we spend all the money. So they kill us on trade. I made great trade deals with the European nations because if you add them up, they're about the same size economically. Their economy is about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have, but we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture. I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this, I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question. Would you guard us against Russia?
That is right.
At a very
That's
secret
true.
meeting of the 28
Trump did tell them to pay
at that time, nations at that time. And they said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. And you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in the next day and the next months.
That is true.
But now we're in the same position. We're paying everybody's bills.
Let's turn to the issue of democracy. Former President Trump, I want to ask you about January 6, 2021.
Damn, how
After
do I
you
know
rallied
all
your
this
supporters
stuff?
that day, some of them stormed the Capitol to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes. As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in, and we're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. What happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
You have 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, they say, but she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this. Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor in writing, by the way, the mayor, in writing, turned it down, the mayor of D.C.
That's true.
They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go.
And with that being said, there's a law that gives, because I didn't know that the mayor had the power to call in the National Guard. I thought it was like either the governor or the president or somebody in the military. I didn't know the mayor can do that. But there's a law in D.C. because it's its own state alone or whatever. It's like the Vatican, you know, like the Vatican City is separated from Italy, you know, from Rome. It's two different places, even though it's inside it. So that's how Washington D.C. is over here. And the mayor can't call the National Guard. You know what I'm saying? But I forgot the law. I mean, because I was looking it up. Because like I said, I was going to do the video on Nancy Pelosi, which that is true. Nancy Pelosi did. I saw the video, and she did say that she did blame herself. And it's a shame it comes out 3.5 years later. Y'all understand what I'm trying to tell y'all? Let me be quiet. We not dumb. Y'all not dumb either.
Make a speech, I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it, too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her. And she now admits that she turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
True.
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up on Capitol Hill, number one. I sat in that dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no. But he went to every single court in the nation. I don't know how many cases, scores of cases, including the Supreme Court, and they said, no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done.
Yeah, that was in the beginning.
And these people should
but look
be
at
in
it
jail,
now, though.
and they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out. And now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that there's going to be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
What they've done to some people that are so
call him a
innocent,
whiner.
you ought to be
Oh,
ashamed of
shit.
yourself. What you have done, how you've destroyed the lives of so many people. When they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down
Trump?
many other
Serious.
cities. You go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look
Facts.
at all of they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set
Facts.
to bring in the National Guard. They heard that. They saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully
I
patriotic.
ain't got
One of the-
nothing to do with the George Floyd thing. Y'all know. Don't. But I'm just saying this is America though, and we all gotta live here. But do y'all remember they took over a whole city? they told them folks don't come down here. What was it? George Floyd Square, right? I'm just saying.
thing. The unselect committee.
But I
which is
still think it's there.
basically two horrible Republicans that are all
I ain't
gone
going
now
up in
out
there.
of office, and Democrats, all Democrats.
Now, but I'll-
they destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right,
Now,
and
but
they
out there,
deleted and
red
destroyed all of the information.
dots.
They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to
Thank
jail.
you, President
what-
Trump.
I
President
ain't-
Biden, I
I
want to
ain't-
give you a minute.
I ain't gonna
The
live
only
with it without
person
the
on this
blinky.
stage is a convicted felon.
Need
this
the
man I'm
blinky.
looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is, what he's telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who were convicted, deserves to be convicted. The idea that they didn't kill somebody, just went in and broke down doors, broke the windows, occupied offices, turned over desks, turned them over statues. The idea that those people are patriots? Come on.
They let him
When I
in,
asked him
man.
the first two debates
I mean, they
we had,
shouldn't have
the
did all
debates
that
we
shit,
had
but
first time around,
but the police did
I
let
said,
them
"Will
in.
you denounce the Proud Boys?" He said, "No, I'll tell them to stand by."
Okay, see, like
idea
the
is
January 6th thing, I'm not saying anything about it, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want everybody to be all going crazy, whatever. That's why I keep I know what's going on. That's all I'm saying. If you don't know, you need to find out. But there's video footage of the police opening up the gates, letting them in, unlocking doors in there, letting them in. They was walking in there, taking pictures, taking selfies with the police. The police is unlocking doors inside the place in the January 6th thing, in the Capitol building. At the Capitol building, yeah, the police was unlocking doors for people.
Will you denounce these guys? Will you denounce the people we're talking about now? Will you denounce the people who attacked that Capitol? What are you going to do?
I'm going to give you a minute, President Trump, for a follow-up question I have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the Select Committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again.
What,
right
he's
now it's
scared?
a failing nation. My retribution
Oh my
is going
God!
to be success. But when he talks
Joe
about
Biden
a
looked like he was
convicted felon,
scared
his
right
son is
there.
a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting
That's
$1 billion.
true. That's on video camera.
That's
on live TV when he did that.
We're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky.
See, that's what I'm saying. American people, we know Joe Biden did some. Joe Biden he in some trouble too. Don't let this fool you. Just because they say convicted fella. Y'all, they need. You know what? Oh man, if I can just tell y'all where I work at. Look, man. Let's just put it like this. It comes from one place, and they tell them all to say the same thing. And you're gonna be hearing convicted felon. You're gonna be hearing convicted felon until November. But Biden is some trouble too. Trump a convicted felon. Hunter's a convicted felon. Joe Biden don't think he's running around with angel wings. That's all I'm gonna say.
Nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir.
Go ahead, Biden.
You want to respond? Go ahead.
Somebody talking again.
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number one. Number two, the idea
somebody
that you
was
have a right
talking
to
again.
seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged
They
with.
gotta be. If I can hear it in the headphones,
billions of dollars do you owe?
that microphone is picking that stuff up.
For molesting a woman in public, for doing
Somebody microphone is picking that.
Of having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant. I mean,
oh,
what are you
damn.
talking about?
Trump, you did that?
You have the morals of an alley cat.
Oh, Lord. Dog.
A minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star, number one. Number two, that was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very
they looking at that now
judge,
as we speak.
Horrible judge, Democrat.
That is on the table, y'all.
All high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal.
Yeah, they're trying to figure that out now. As we speak, this is present. Like they're trying to figure out the guy that's in Alvin Bragg's case. Apparently he was way up there at the DOJ. You know, I think it's like the second or third person in charge over there, and he left to go and do the case with Alvin Bragg. That's weird.
He went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But
Facts.
When they found out about these cases,
Facts.
you know what
That's
they
what
did?
I'm saying.
My poll numbers went up way up. You know that because you're reporting
American
it.
people,
and
we
took
know
in
some
more
stuff.
money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of any campaign. I don't think any campaign has ever taken.
See, some of us don't get our news from
pouring in because
mainstream
the public
media.
knows it's a scam and it's a guy
Some of us,
that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
We go
Thank
through,
you, President Trump.
You know,
President
it's a
Biden, you
long,
have said,
big
quote,
old thing
Donald
to
Trump
read,
and
but
his
we
MAGA
read them
Republicans
documents.
are determined to destroy
So we
American
find
democracy.
lawyers, attorneys,
Do you believe that the
prosecutors,
tens of
government
millions of Americans
officials,
who are
people
likely
got
to
connections to
vote
people?
for President Trump will be voting against American democracy?
Oh,
The more they know about what he's done, yes. The more they know about what he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming around. He's got a whole range of issues he has to face. I don't know what the jury will do.
He got a whole lot coming, Biden.
And so the fact that, could you ever think you hear any president say
Biden got some more coming.
Retribution? You ever hear any president say that they thought Hitler had some good ideas?
Shit.
What got me involved to run in the first place after my son had died, I decided in Iraq, because of Iraq, I said I wasn't going to run again until I saw what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. People coming out of the woods carrying swastikas on torches, and singing the same anti-Semitic bile they sang when back in Germany. And the young woman.
Now that I heard about that. Now that Trump, that's not a good thing.
They asked him. They said, "What do you think of those people? The ones who got killed, the one who tried to stop it, and the ones," he said, "I think they're fine people on both sides."
Okay, let me clear that up right there. Now, this Charlottesville thing. Now, I didn't get that far. I mean, I did. I'm far. I was there, but I never paid no attention to it because Trump did say like they're a fine group of people on both sides. So to me, it seemed like he was not taking sides. He was saying that it's wrong for what they're doing, and there's some good sides on the those folks, and then on the other side is, you know what, that's a Z that alone. I'm gonna look more into it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look it up after I finish this video. That's the only thing that I really didn't want to pay attention to, or I didn't pay attention to. I heard about it, but I just never went in there and looked. But I'm gonna find out.
Would ever say Nazis coming out of fields carrying torches, singing.
Trump, you said that, man. That's on you. You see, you can't just because people want you as president don't mean that you can run around doing shit, man. You can't. You got to. It seems like you got to get your act together too. Shit.
Semitic bile carrying swastikas. We're fine people. This is the guy who says Hitler's done some good things. I'd like to know what they are. Good things Hitler's done, that's what he said. This guy has no sense of American democracy.
President Trump.
Jake, both of you know that story has been totally wiped out because when you see the sentence, it said 100% exoneration on that. So he just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last chance.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
He's not equipped to be president. You know it, and I know it. It's ridiculous.
I don't know a lot about that part.
We're trying to justify his presidency. His presidency is, without question, the worst president, the worst presidency in the history of our country. We shouldn't be having a debate about it. There's nothing to debate. He made up the Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's debunked all over the place. Every reasonable anchor has debunked it. And just the other day it came out where it was fully debunked. It's a nonsense story. He knows that, and he didn't run because of Charlottesville. He used that as an excuse to run.
President Biden.
And debunked. It happened. All you have to do is listen to what was said at the time. And the idea that somehow that's the only reason I ran. I ran because I was worried a guy like this guy could get elected. If he thought they were good people coming out of that forest, carrying those woods, carrying those torches, then he didn't deserve to be president. Didn't deserve to be president at all. And the idea that he's talking about all this being fabricated, we saw with our own eyes. We saw what happened on January 6th. We saw the people breaking through the windows. We saw people occupying his own vice president. Look, there's a reason why 40 of his 44 top cabinet officers refused to endorse him this time. His vice president hasn't endorsed him this time. So why? Why? They know him well. They serve with him. Why are they not endorsing him?
Thank you, President Biden. We're going to be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate.
That's a good question. Got to look that up. Told y'all it's going to get deep, man. This shit crazy, boy. Man, them two right there. But like I said, I'm going to have to look up that Charlottesville one. If y'all know anything about it, put it in the chat. But y'all, I mean, you can if you want to. Not in the chat, put it in the comments. Because, you know, I be trying to go live, but I got to do some upgrades. How y'all feeling about this so far? So right now, I'm not going to even lie to you. They both look like they got some working to do, on each other. But as for right now, me, it looked like it's gonna be Trump, man. I'm just saying. I mean, everybody that know me, they already know I rock with Trump. I rock with Biden too, but I just seen it just. I don't know, man. It's like right in your face. It's like right in your face, man. Like for instance, I saw. Let me. The votes, the counts, in the election. It was some weird things going on that TV. That's all I know. That's all I'm gonna say. and I saw it myself. I'm like, wow. I mean, when you get votes, if I get 100, if 100 people voted for me, and it says 100 people there, and then them 100 people, so 5 minutes or the next cycle that come through, I shouldn't go down. I said, if people not voting me, I should get lesser votes going upwards. I shouldn't. My 100 people that voted for me, what they went back and they returned it. They returned their vote. So you shouldn't go backwards. Man, I was seeing people stuff on there, man. Democrats and Republicans. I don't know, man. I seen some people, some stuff on there was going backwards when they was already up. It ain't life. It ain't like you go up and then hit rock bottom. Votes is votes. They tallied already. They tallied up. Yeah, man. So, boy, what y'all gonna do with these folks? Let me know who y'all gonna vote for. Put it in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but there's a lot of things going on out here in America, man. So, like I said, but the American people, we know. Y'all know, and y'all don't need the mainstream media. Y'all need to make up your own mind. Look at stuff like this and sit back and listen to what they're saying and go do your research. Like really research. Don't type it in there, blah, 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 blah. Biden spilled the oil in the North Sea or some shit, you know what I'm saying? And then CNN come on there or ABC come on there and say, yeah, Biden did that. And then in reality, he didn't do it.
Live from Georgia. Let's talk about persistent challenges you both faced in your first terms and you'd certainly face again in a second term. President Biden, while black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency,
you ain't black.
Families still earn far less.
If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Are still 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes, and black Americans are imprisoned at 5 times the rate of white Americans.
You ain't black.
What do you say to black voters who are disappointed that you haven't made more progress?
What?
They acknowledge they made a lot of progress, number one. The fact of the matter is there's more...
See, he can say that shit to certain people. Some people you can't...
History. Number 2, the wages of black...
Certain people out here in the world, you can't just do things to. Because some of us ain't having that shit. You can't just run up on certain people and just say what you want to say and do what you want to do. It doesn't happen like that.
No. Black unemployment is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time. Number 3, we're trying to provide housing for black Americans and dealing with the segregation that exists among these corporations that collude to keep people out of their houses. And in addition to that, we find that the impact on the
Come on, get it out.
that black families have to make relative to child care is incredibly difficult. When we did the first major piece of legislation in the past, I was able to reduce black child care costs. I cut them in half. We got to make sure we provide for child care costs. We got to make sure, because when you provide those child care protections, you increase economic growth because more people can be in the job market. So there's more to be done, considerably more to be done. But we've done a great deal so far, and I'm not letting up, and they know it.
You have 49 seconds
I don't
left.
understand none of
What
you
do
just
you
said.
say
I
to
ain't gonna lie
black
to you.
voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed. Inflation is still hurting them badly. For example, I provided for the idea that any black family first-time home buyer should get a $10,000 tax credit to be able to buy their first home so they can get started. I made sure that we're in a situation where all those black families and those black individuals who provided had to take out student loans that were ballooning, that if they were engaged in nursing, doctor, and anything having to do with volunteerism, if they paid their
He's
bills
messing
for 10
this
years
up right here.
on their student debt, all the rest is forgiven after 10 years. Millions have benefited from that. And we're going to do a whole lot more for black families.
Thank you, President Trump.
And
Right.
he caused the inflation.
I'm not trying. Trump's stupid. Look, I can't speak for all black people, brown people, shit. Do my skin look like this microphone? See? Mental. I'm just saying. Do my skin look like this microphone? Or we just that stupid? Don't worry about it. I can't speak for all black people, but damn, Biden, you kind of fumbled that one.
And he's right, it's been very bad. He caused the inflation, and it's killing black families and Hispanic families and just about everybody. It's killing people. They can't buy groceries anymore. They can't. You look at the cost of food where it's doubled and tripled and quadrupled. They can't live. They're not living anymore.
It's just Trump.
He caused this inflation. I gave him.
I think the thing, see, Trump a good talker. That's what it is. It got to be. Because it just makes sense. Like that's what's really happening. Like Biden, you should have said, "I know it's messed up out there right now, but I'm trying to tell y'all, man. But I'm gonna do my hardest to get it back together. I know it ain't looking good right now. You know, tell the truth. People would like you more if you just told the truth.
With essentially no inflation.
Because don't get me wrong, because both of them crazy as hell. They both crazy. But my bad. See, I'm laughing too, man. I mean, damn, my bad. Shit, they both crazy. They both crazy. Biden just do some weird shit.
It was so good. All he had to do is leave it alone. He destroyed it with his Green New scam and all this money that's being thrown out the window. He caused inflation. As sure as you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs, and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Thank you. President Biden?
There was no inflation when I became president. You know why? The economy was flat on its back. 15% unemployment. He decimated the economy, absolutely decimated the economy. That's why there was no inflation at the time. There were no jobs. We provided thousands of millions of jobs for individuals who are in all communities, including minority communities. We made sure that they have health insurance. We have covered, the ACA has increased. I made sure that they're $8,000 per person in a family to get written off for health care. But this guy wants to eliminate that. They've tried 50 times. He wants to get rid of the ACA again, and they're going to try again if they win. We find ourselves in a position where the idea that we're not doing any, we put more police on the street than any administration has. He wants to cut the cops. We're providing for equity and making sure people have a shot to make it. There's a lot going on, but in inflation, he caused it by his tremendous feasance in the way he handled the pandemic.
Thank you. Another persistent challenge is the climate crisis. 2023 was the hottest year in recorded history, and communities across the country are confronting the devastating effects of extreme heat.
Biden, how you gonna get some? God damn it, man! How you gonna get black people to vote for you? You talking like that? That didn't make no damn sense at all. And it's not like I don't have nothing against him. You know, I don't have nothing against him. Shit. Cause they gonna put, like I said, they gonna put who they want to put in there anyway. So it don't really matter. But I'm not. It's just, God damn it, man. It's like he gives people something to talk about. And like, if this is your fight, if this what you coming with, if this is what he's coming with, y'all, then shit, you ain't got a chance.
Intensifying wildfires, stronger hurricanes, and rising sea levels. Former President Trump, you've vowed to end your opponent's climate initiatives, but will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
Well, let me just go back to what he said about the police, how close the police are to him. Almost every police group in the nation from every state is supporting
somebody talking again.
Almost every police group. And what he's done to the black population is horrible, including the fact that for 10 years he called them super predators. We can't, in the 1990s, we can't forget that. Super predators.
Yeah, he did. Look how he
called it to them, and they've taken
yes, you
great
did.
offense at
Joe,
it.
you said that shit. He look how you did. Oh, Joe, you said that. Yes, you did. Yes, it's on video. They record them things. Stop looking surprised. Stop it. Own up to it, man. Just like I told when Trump said, hey, man, everybody, people be telling me, talk to me about Trump too. Like, how you like him like that? It's not like I like him like that. I'm for what makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Gas prices was like $1.80 something. Go to the pump now. Well, now it's coming down because, of course, the election. Go to the gas pump 2 years ago. What was the price? I'm for what makes sense. Milk, go to the store. Milk was almost $6. I used to barbecue ribs almost every weekend. Ribs was like, a slab of ribs was probably like $12. It's going back down now. Last year, a year and a half ago, a slab of ribs was $32. Come on, man. You did say that, man.
And now they see it happening. But when they see what I did for criminal justice reform and for the historically black colleges and universities, where I funded them and got them all funded, and the opportunity zones with Tim, as you know, Tim Scott was incredible. He did a great job. Great senator from South Carolina. He came to me with the idea, and it was a great idea. It's one of the most successful economic development acts ever in the country. Opportunity zones.
I want to be a president.
Are blacks.
I don't want to run this place.
We have the best numbers with them in maybe ever. They're saying ever. I read this morning where ever the best numbers.
I don't control the earth.
Much of the black population.
The planet.
Because he's done a horrible job for black people. He's also done a horrible job for Hispanics. But wait till you see these millions of people pouring into our country, and they're going to take the jobs, and it's already started, and you haven't seen anything yet. It's a disaster.
You've 38 seconds left. President Trump, will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
So I want absolutely immaculate clean water, and I want absolutely clean air, and we had it. We had H2O. We had the best numbers ever, and we were using all forms of energy, all forms, everything. And yet, during my 4 years, I had the best environmental numbers ever. And my top environmental people gave me that statistic just before I walked on the stage, actually.
I don't know where the hell he's been. the idea that anything he said is true. I've passed the most extensive climate change legislation in history. We find ourselves, and by the way, black colleges.
You've been fighting them goddamn cases you be putting on them.
HBCUs, historic black universities and colleges, because they don't have the kind of contributors that they have to build these laboratories and the like. Any black student is capable in college of doing any white student can do. They just have
I laugh, but I know this is all serious.
In high tech.
I know it's serious.
In a situation where the idea that
but you gotta laugh.
he is
See,
claiming to
it's so
have done
fucked up out.
something
It's so
that
messed up out here.
The cleanest water.
You gotta laugh. You have to laugh
to
not be damn depressed.
Climate Accord. I immediately
because it's wild out here.
If we reach 1.5 degrees Celsius,
real talk, it's wild. It's wild as shit out here.
The only existential threat to humanity is climate change, and he didn't do a damn thing about it. He wants to undo all that I've done.
The Paris Accord was going to cost us $1 trillion, and China nothing, and Russia nothing, and India nothing.
Joe, close your mouth.
Off of the United States. And I ended it because I didn't want to waste that money because they treat us horribly. We were the only ones. It was costing us money. Nobody else was paying into it. And it was a disaster. But everything that he said just now, I'll give you an example. I heard him say before insulin. I'm the one that got the insulin down for the seniors. I took care of the seniors. What he's doing is destroying all of our medical programs because the migrants coming in, they want everybody. And look, I have the biggest heart on the stage. I guarantee you that. And I want to take care of people. But we're destroying our country. They're taking over our schools, our hospitals, and they're going to be taking over Social Security. He is destroying Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
Trump's serious.
The idea is that
Trump is not
we,
playing.
in fact, we were the only ones of consequence.
Y'all better be look here. Democrats, let me tell you something. I don't know the agenda or I don't know the plan that y'all trying to do. But this is what I want to say. Let me say this. Trump is serious. Look, y'all remember the last debate he had. Remember how he came out there and he was throwing jabs at Joe Biden every second of the time. He was calling them little Joe and he couldn't fight. And he wanted to whoop him and all kind of, he was calling them all kind of names and all kind of stuff. But if you notice Trump now, look at him. Joe Biden then curses man and call them losers and all that stuff. Trump did not even reply, y'all. Did y'all notice that? I'm sitting here thinking about it now. If I was like, damn, I said he's being very serious. Oh man, see, I guess that's what happened when y'all, I don't know. You try to take a man's life from him.
We've not able to.
I guess things do get serious, huh?
Under control. One of the largest polluters in the world, number one. We're making significant progress. By 2035, we will have cut pollution in half. We have made significant progress, and we're continuing to make progress. We set up a climate corps for thousands of young people will learn how to deal with climate, just like the Peace Corps, and we're moving in directions that are going to significantly change the elements of cause of pollution. But the idea that he claims that he has the biggest heart up here and he's really concerned about pollution and about climate, I've not seen any indication of that. And by the way, with regard to prescription drugs, one company agreed that they would reduce the price to $35, which I was calling for, one, voluntarily. I made sure every company in the world, every pharmaceutical company, cannot have to pay.
Thank you.
And by the way.
So every day, millions of Americans struggle just to make ends meet. For many older Americans, Social Security provides a critical lifeline. President Biden, if nothing is done to Social Security...
Shout out to CNN. I can't believe I'm about to say this. Shout out to CNN, man. Look, they made their rules and they sticking by them. They not look. Okay, they cutting people off and all kind of. They cut Trump off. They cutting Biden off. They. Damn, I'm kind of shocked.
Seniors will see their benefits cut in just over 10 years. Will you name tonight one specific step that you're willing to take to keep Social Security solvent?
Yes, make the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Right now,
bullshit.
Everybody making under $170,000 pays 6% of their income, of their paycheck, every single time they get a paycheck from the time the first one they get when they're 18 years old. The idea that they're going to, I've been proposing that everybody, the millionaires pay 1%. So no one I would not raise the cost of Social Security for anybody under $400,000. After that, I began to make the wealthy begin to pay their fair share by increasing from 1% beyond to be able to guarantee the program for life.
So you still have 82 seconds left. Are there any other measures that you think that would be able to help keep Social Security solvent, or is that one enough?
Did he say millionaires pay 1%? He said millionaires pay 1% of what? Taxes?
Because
somebody let me know what that means.
He thinks there's plenty to cut in Social Security. He's wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare, both times. And and if you look at the program put forward by the House Republican caucus that I believe supports, is in fact want to cut it as well. The idea that we don't need to protect our seniors is ridiculous. And by the way, the American public has greater health care coverage today than ever before. And under the ACA, as I said, you're in a circumstance where 400,000 people, 40 million people would not have insurance because they have a pre-existing condition. Only thing that allows them to have that insurance is the fact that they, in fact, are part of the ACA. And by the way, the other thing is, we're in a situation where we talk about education for black communities. I've raised the amount of money for Pell Grants by another $8,000. So anybody making under $70,000 a year is going to be able to get $15,000 toward their tuition.
What are you talking about?
He just don't know what he's talking about.
Thank you, President Biden, President Trump.
So I've dealt with politicians.
Biden, what are you talking about? Well, wait a minute. Wait. Let me see what time it is. Damn. Okay. When they talking about Medicaid, they was just talking about Medicaid. Biden, you went to the black people again. The black people, that was 2 questions ago. Oh, Biden, stop it. Stay on topic, man. I'm trying to, you know what, shit.
All my life, I've been on this side of the equation for the last 8 years.
See, I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying. It's not like I'm being on Trump's side.
He can look you in the face.
He give us no other choice but to be like.
And we mentioned the
Biden.
laptop.
What are you talking about?
Russia, Ukraine. Everything he does is a lie. It's misinformation and disinformation. The losers and suckers story that he made up is a total lie on the military. It's a disgrace. But Social Security, he's destroying it, because millions of people are pouring into our country, and they're putting them onto Social Security. They're putting them onto Medicare, Medicaid. They're putting them in our hospitals. They're taking the place of our citizens. What they're doing to the VA, to our veterans, is unbelievable. Our veterans are living in the street, and these people are living in luxury hotels.
Facts.
He doesn't know what he's doing, and it's really coming back. I've never seen such anger in our country before.
Facts.
President Biden?
The idea that veterans are not being taken care of, I told you before. And by the way, when I said suckers and losers, he acknowledged after that he fired that general. That general got fired because he's the one that acknowledged that that's what he said. He was the one standing with Trump when he said it, number one. Number two, the idea that we're going to be in a situation where all these millions and millions, the way he talks about it, illegal aliens are coming into the country and taking away our jobs. There's a reason why we have the fastest growing economy in the world, the reason why we have the most successful economy in the world. We're doing better than any other nation in the world.
Why?
And by the way,
because of the immigrants?
Nobel laureates.
Oh, my goodness.
Phony.
Joe,
what are you? Nobel laureates, economists,
No.
they all said that if Trump is reelected, we're likely to have a recession.
That's why he's smiling. No, you can't.
Going to
Damn it, boy.
And by the way, worst president in history, 159 presidential scholars voted him the worst president in the history of the United States of America.
President Biden, thank you so much. Let's turn to the cost of child care, which
Biden, look, for y'all next, if anybody ever get to see this video, if from the Democrats or whatever, and y'all watch it up until this point, look, Biden is trying to pick a fight. He's trying to get Trump upset, and Trump is not. Look. I told you this is a different. This is a different dude right here. This is a different Trump. He's not the old Trump. You thinking this is a Trump from 2022? I mean 2020, man, or 2016. One of them. No, 2020. That's not him. You sit up there, you trying to get this man mad. He's not even. He ain't said nothing. He ain't said nothing really crazy to you. It's not working.
Families struggle to afford. President Trump, both you and President Biden have tried to address this issue, but the average cost of child care in this country has risen to more than $11,000 a year per child. For many families, the cost of child care for 2 children is more than their rent. In your second term, what would you do to make child care more affordable?
Just to go back, the general got fired because he was no good. And if he said that, that's why he made it up. But we have 19 people that said I didn't say it, and they're very highly respected, much more so than him. The other thing is, he doesn't fire people. He never fired people. I've never seen him fire anybody. I did fire a lot.
Biden, why are you looking like that, man? Don't.
The FBI drained the swamp. They were no good. Not easy to fire people. You'd pay a price for it, but they were no good. I inherited these people. I didn't put them there. I didn't put Comey there. He was no good. I fired him. This guy hasn't fired anybody.
Biden don't like him.
He never fires. He should have fired every military man that was involved with that Afghanistan horror show. The most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. He didn't fire. Did you fire anybody? Did you fire anybody that's on the border that's allowed us to have the worst border in the history of the world? Did anybody get fired for allowing 18 million people, many from prisons, many from mental institutions? Did you fire anybody that allowed our country to be destroyed? Joe, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up here and waste a lot of time on this debate. This shouldn't be a debate. He is the worst president.
Shit.
He just said about me because I said it. But look, he's the worst president in the history of our country. He's destroyed our country.
He got emotional with him right there. I told you, this man is not. Trump ain't playing. He said, Joe, man, look, they killing us, and you over here playing around. He said, our country is going to shit, and you playing. He called him by his name. He ain't called him Brandon or whatever. He said, Joe, look here, man, for real. Stop playing, yo. This shit is getting serious.
Now all of a sudden
he's over there laughing.
Tough on the border. He came out with a nothing deal, and it reduced it a little bit, like this much. It's insignificant. He wants open borders. He wants our country to either be destroyed or he wants to pick up those people as voters. And I don't think we just can't let it happen. If he wins this election, our country doesn't have a chance, not even a chance, of coming out of this rut. We probably won't have a country left anymore. That's how bad it is. He is the worst in history by far.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden?
We are the most admired country in the world. We're the United States of America. There's nothing beyond our capacity. We have the finest military in the history of the world, the finest in the history of the world. No one thinks we're weak. No one wants to screw around with us. Nobody, number one. Number two, the idea that we're talking about worst
evil right there.
I wasn't joking. Look it up or go online. 159.
With that being said, Mike Tyson got beat too.
Presidential historians, they've had meetings and they voted. He was the worst president in American history. One through best to worst.
Even John's got to fall.
Of American
John's got to fall down too.
That's not conjecture. Shit. He can argue they're wrong, but that's what they voted. The idea that he
can build a building way in the sky,
deal with child care,
and it can get blown up and come right back down.
Nothing to child care. We should significantly increase the child care tax credit.
Look at all the ancient civilizations.
The availability of women and men or single parents to be able to go back to work. And we should encourage businesses.
Don't be so damn conceited, y'all.
To have
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, the question was about what would you do to make child care more affordable, if you want to take your minute.
Just so you understand, we have polling, we have other things that they rate him the worst because what he's done is so bad. And they rate me, I'll show you, I will show you, and they rate me one of the best, okay? And if I'm given another 4 years, I will be the best. I think I'll be the best.
Turn on the news.
Nobody's ever created an economy
Read the
like us.
newspaper.
Nobody ever cut taxes like us.
Just-
He's the only one I know who
Google
wants to
it.
raise your taxes by 4 times. He wants to raise everybody's taxes by 4 times. He wants the Trump tax cuts to expire, so everybody, including the two of you, are going to pay 4 to 5 times. Nobody ever heard of this before. All my life, I'd grow up and I'd see politicians talking about cutting taxes. When we cut taxes, as I said, we did more business. Apple and all these companies, they were bringing money back into our country. The worst president in history by far, and everybody knows it.
President Biden?
Look, the fact of the matter is that he's dead wrong about. He's increased the tariff. He will increase the taxes on middle-class people. I said I'd never raise a tax on anybody making less than $400,000. I didn't.
Shit, I hope
His
he
tariff
don't.
is 10% tariffs. Everything coming in the country, you know what the economists say? That's going to cost the average American $2,500 a year more, because they're going to have to pay the difference in food and all the things that are important. Number two, he's in a situation where he talks about how he has not raised, he's somehow helped the middle class. The middle class has been devastated by you. Now you want a new tax cut of $5 trillion over the next 10 years, which is going to fundamentally bankrupt the country. You had the largest deficit of any president in American history, number one. Number two, you have not, in fact, made any contact, any progress with China. We are at the lowest trade deficit with China since 2010.
Thank you, President Biden. Thank you, President Biden. Let's discuss an epidemic impacting millions of Americans
Joe, what
that
are you...
both of you have made a top priority in your first term, the opioid crisis. And for both of you, the number of overdose deaths in this country has gone up. Under your term, it went up. Under your term, it has gone up. Former President Trump, despite the efforts that both of you have made, more than 100,000 Americans are dying from overdoses every year, primarily from fentanyl and other opioids. What will you do to help Americans right now in the throes of addiction who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
To finish up, we now have the largest deficit in the history of our country under this guy. We have the largest deficit with China. He gets paid by China. He's a Manchurian candidate. He gets money from China.
That is true.
So I think he's afraid to deal with them or something. But do you notice?
Okay, let me
took
take
out
that back.
Tariffs, because we bring in so much money with the
Hunter's
tariffs that I
getting
imposed on China.
$8 million.
He never took them away.
Well, he
can't, because
did.
it's too much money. It's tremendous. And we saved our steel industries, and there was more to come. But he hasn't done that. But he hasn't cut the tariffs because he can't, because it's too much money. But he's got the largest deficit in the history of our country, and he's got the worst situation with China. China's going to own us if you keep allowing them to do what they're doing to us as a country. They are killing us as a country, Joe, and you can't let that happen. They're destroying our country.
Damn.
So, President
He did
Trump,
it
you have
again,
67
see?
seconds left. The question was, what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes of addiction right now who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
Jake, we were doing very well at addiction until the COVID came along. We had the 2.5, almost 3 years of like nobody's ever had before, any country, in every way. And then we had to get tough, and it was
Joe
the
don't
drugs
look good up
pouring
there.
across the border it started to increase.
not
We
looking
got
good
great
for him.
equipment. We bought the certain dog that's the most incredible thing that you've ever seen, the way they can spot it. We did a lot, and we were getting very low numbers, very, very low numbers. Then he came along. The numbers, have you seen the numbers now? It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low, because the gotaways, they don't even talk about gotaways. But the numbers of the amount of drugs and human trafficking in women coming across our border, the worst thing I've ever seen, at numbers that nobody's ever seen under him, because the border's so bad. But the number of drugs coming across our border now is the largest we've ever had by far.
President Trump, thank you. President Biden?
Fentanyl and the byproducts of fentanyl went down for a while. And I wanted to make sure we use the machinery that can detect fentanyl, these big machines that roll over everything that comes across the border. And it costs a lot of money. That was part of this deal we put together, this bipartisan deal. More fentanyl machines, more be able to detect drugs, more numbers of agents, more numbers of all the people at the border. And when we had that deal done, he called his Republican colleagues, said, "Don't do it. It's going to hurt me politically." No, he never argued it's not a good bill. It's a really good bill. We need those machines. We need those machines. And we're coming down very hard in every country in Asia in terms of...
I don't know nothing about the machines. I'm going to have to look that up, too.
Working with us to make sure they don't have the technology to be able to put it together. That's what we have to do. We need those machines.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, and again, the question is about Americans in the throes of addiction right now, struggling to get the treatment they need.
Well, because this does pertain to it. He ended Remain in Mexico. He ended catch and release. I made it catch and release in Mexico, not catch and release here. We had so many things that we had done, hard negotiations with Mexico, and I got it all for nothing. It's just like when you have a hostage. We always pay $6 billion for a hostage. Every time we say it's a hostage. Now we have a hostage, a Wall Street Journal reporter, I think a good guy, and he's over there because Putin is laughing at this guy, probably asking for billions of dollars.
I ain't going to front y'all. I said the same thing.
I will have him out very quickly as soon as I take office. Before I take office, I said by literally as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out. He should have had him out a long time ago. But Putin's probably asking for billions and billions of dollars because this guy pays it every time. We had 2 cases where he paid $6 billion for 5 people. I got 58 people out, and I paid essentially nothing.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
Damn.
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you. President Biden, you would be 86 at the end of your second term.
Uh-oh.
How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Oh, shit.
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent. I think that just look at the record. Look at what I've done. Look how I've turned around.
Why you keep taking shots at him like that?
As I said,
see,
15 million new jobs, 80,000 manufacturing jobs.
You don't see what
America.
This is not the game plan.
Billions of dollars in private investment in.
This is not a good plan. Whoever came up with this for him is not. That's not good.
A lot of people. Well, the whole idea of computer chips. We used to have 40% of the market. We invented those chips, and we lost it because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and to bring home a product. So I went to South Korea. I convinced Samsung to invest billions of dollars here in the United States. And guess what? Those fabs, they call them, to build these chips, those fabs pay over $100,000. You don't need a college degree for them. And there's billions, about $40 billion already being invested and being built right now in the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the world.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would. The idea that somehow we are this failing country. I never heard a president talk like this before. We're the envy of the world. Name me a single major country president who wouldn't trade places with the United States of America for all our problems and all our opportunities. We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done. We're the strongest country in the world. We're a country in the world who keeps our word, and everybody trusts us, all of our allies.
No, man, ain't looking too good right now, man.
Those who he
ain't looking too good. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Jong-un, we sent love letters to, and Putin, etc.
I don't know,
they
man.
don't want to screw around with us.
I don't know.
Thank you. Former President Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year.
Shit, he even had to laugh.
We knock on wood wherever we may have worked.
Biden, stop,
very
man.
good health. I just won 2 club championships.
Fight back,
not
man.
Even senior,
God damn
2
it.
regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced him. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they've never seen anybody ace him.
Thank you. President Biden?
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's what you're. Anyway, just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie. He's a 6 handicap.
I didn't know.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8. But I have, you know how many?
Biden, you're going off topic. This is not good.
Swing. I know you swing.
Okay,
let's not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to turn
Let's not act like children.
to a specific concern that voters have about you.
See, Trump ain't playing. See, you are a child. See, Trump ain't playing. Trump came to do some shit.
Pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable.
He nodded his head yes.
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to, and I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is,
we know some
if
stuff.
The election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody.
The American people.
And I'll tell you something.
Knows more than what the media
because I wouldn't be
or what
right
they
now.
feeding you.
At one of my
Stop
many places,
fed.
enjoying myself.
You're a grown up.
You're
not a feed yourself.
Because I wouldn't have been his political opponent. Because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. But the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. His policies are so bad. His military policies are insane.
Trump talking different, man.
These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want a World War III, let him follow and win, and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article 5. An attack on one is an attack on all, and required response. The idea, I can't think of a single major leader in the world who wouldn't trade places with the job I've done.
I look kind of evil, man.
Because we are a powerful nation. We have wonderful people. It's because of the people.
It sounds like war.
People, they're capable of anything, and they step up when they're needed. And right now, we're needed. We're needed to protect the world because our own safety is at stake. And again, you want to have a war, just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border. Then you have a war.
President Trump, as I come back to you for a follow-up, the question was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might.
He said that. He said yes
Russia,
twice already.
They took a lot of land from Bush. They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden. They took no land, nothing from Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it. He's not going to play games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games. He took nothing from me. But now he's going to take.
I know y'all heard that one
from this man right here.
Somebody's
That's a war
talking.
that should have never started. It would have never started ever with me. And he's going to take Ukraine. And, you know, you asked me a question before, would you do this? He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia because Ukraine's not winning that war. He said, I will never settle until such time. They're running out of people. They're running out of soldiers. They've lost so many people. It's so sad. They've lost so many people, and they've lost those gorgeous cities with the golden domes that are 1,000 years old, all because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked if I were
President
president.
Trump, the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these.
That's the third time he's asked
the
that
fraud
question.
and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely. There's nothing I'd rather do. It would be much easier for me to do that than I'm running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else, in a nice location someplace. And again,
Trump
no
is
indictments,
serious.
no political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up my numbers and driven them up to a very high level because the people understand it.
Well, let's see what your numbers are when this election is over. Let's see. You're a whiner. When you lost the first time, you continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in America said any of your claims had any merit, state or local, none. But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There is no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea, if you lose again, you accepting anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
We'll be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate, live from Georgia.
That was a steaming little round right there. So we ain't got that long. We only got about 5 more minutes to go, y'all. And then we can just wrap this up because, shit, it's going to be a long time if I do one of these. Yeah, I'm doing it for y'all. But see, but it makes more sense, when you're doing it with somebody that actually know things. And if you need some receipts or whatever, put them in the comments. I try to pinpoint you and I pinpoint you to the direction where you need to go. I can show you. I can show you what they're talking about. If I say everything that I tell you what, everything that come out my mouth, I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? At least I try not to lie to you. Everything, when I say something, I can show you, like, bam, right here, bam, right there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's around, you know what I'm saying? But this strategy that Joe Biden is using, it ain't working. So y'all need to go back to the drawing board if y'all gonna have another debate. Because right now I doubt if you even want to debate him again. Biden did this bullying attitude towards him this time. You doing what he did to you last time. But the thing about it is, everybody was equal. Y'all not equal now. All this stuff is happening to Trump, man. All this stuff is happening. You ever heard the term? What you think gonna happen to you when you back a scared dog in the corner? The motherfucker gonna bite you. And Trump probably is that scared dog right now in the corner. Not saying that he's scared of what's going on, but the pressure. A lot of people in America is not playing no more. This stuff that's going on out here, this is real. This is real. The gas, the food, the lies, the betrayal, the secrecy, the bullying, the setups, the killings, the drugs, World War III potentially. Who the you think people want to die from nukes? Y'all must think this place down here is just a playground. I tell you what, in that case, take your shoe off and go bang your foot against the wall repeatedly, and repeatedly. And tell me if it hurt or not.
Determined by a coin toss. We're going to begin with you, President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
We've made significant progress from the debacle that was left by President Trump in his last term. We find ourselves in a situation where, number one, we have to make sure that we have a fair tax system. I ask anyone out there in the audience, or anyone out watching this debate, do you think the tax system is fair? The fact is that I said nobody even making under $400,000 had a single penny increase in their taxes, and will not. And if I'm reelected, that'll be the case again. But this guy has increased your taxes because of the deficit, number one. He's increased inflation because of the debacle he left after the way he handled the pandemic. And he finds himself in a position where he now wants to tax you more by putting a 10% tariff on everything that comes into the United States of America. What I did, when, for example, he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for the ability
come on.
for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. Well, guess what?
See, that's another thing.
We got it down to
that man is he probably sick, man. Y'all need to.
No more than
he need help. He probably need help.
Senior, no matter what they.
Everybody run around here playing around. Y'all play too much.
That reduced
I'm about to turn this off.
Debt by $160 billion over 10 years because the government prices. I'm going to make that available to every senior.
I don't do too much playing.
All along it's happening now, and
I might laugh and joke and giggle, but
get rid of that. I
don't do too much playing.
Child care. We're going to significantly increase the credits people have for child care. I'm going to make sure we do something about what we're doing on lead pipes and all the things that are causing health problems for people across the country. We're going to continue to fight to bring down inflation and give people a break.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, you now have 2 minutes for your closing
statement. Thank you, Mr. Biden.
Like so many politicians, this man is just a complainer. He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax. But he doesn't do anything. All he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in. Our military doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke. Anybody that did business with Iran, including China, they couldn't do business with the United States. They all passed. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, for terror, no money whatsoever. Again, Ukraine should have never happened. He talks about all this stuff, but he didn't do it. For 3.5 years, we're living in hell. We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all over the place. You talk about Charlottesville. This is 100 times Charlottesville, 1,000 times. The whole country is exploding because of you, because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world. What we did was incredible. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. The reason he's got jobs is because I cut the regulations that gave jobs, but he's putting a lot of those regulations back on. All of the things that we've done, nobody's never seen anything like. Even from a medical standpoint, right to try, where we can try space-age materials instead of going to Asia or going to Europe and trying to get when you're terminally ill. Now you can go and you can get something. You sign a document. They've been trying to get it for 42 years. But you know what we did for the military was incredible. Choice for our soldiers, where our soldiers, instead of waiting for 3 months to see a doctor, can go out and get themselves fixed up and readied up and take care of themselves, and they're living. And that's why I had the highest approval rating in the history of the VA. So all of these things, we're in a failing nation, but it's not going to be failing anymore. We're going to make it great again.
Thank you, former President Trump.
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
President Biden.
All right, y'all. That was it. That was it. That was crazy. Mm-mm-mm. Well, there you have it, folks. You make the decision. See, but like I said, this tough guy, snapping and clowning and trying to provoke a person, you know what I'm saying? I see. I've been around people like that. I've been around people like that. They use this tactic. It doesn't work. Cause karma's a motherfucker. You see the way that man. See the way when Trump directly talked to him. It's not like he's snapping at him. It's like he's. It's like the way you talk to your kid that you love or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, don't do this because, you know what I'm saying? Look, because this consequence and this consequence, look here. And then what happens when your kid don't listen? They run out there and they get in trouble. Bow, 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 bow. All right, America. You go vote. I'm done. Now you know what they know and what we know. And if you don't know, now you know. We out of here. Peace.